the NAFTAA Podcast.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
What up, NAFTAA Podcast? We're back, episode 204. Guess what? We got a lot to get into, but we got a lot of people on the pod. The full squad is back. You got both Tucker brothers, you got myself, and you have a Michael Whitaker coming off a Carabao Cup win, doing a bad Scouse accent constantly, and I'm sure there will be some gloating there as well. Like I said, we got a lot. You're too afraid to.
Yeah, I don't actually want to get made fun of on the internet.
A lot to get into. Like always, though, if you're listening, like, share, subscribe, follow us, do all the things, do all the stuff. We're going to do Dudes of the Week. We're going to do Everton, getting some ROI. What's legal ROI? Like, what is that technically called? But that's what they got. They got some points back. The Carabao Cup, obviously, the games. And then, Nick, it's your first pod back, and you showed up to a tough one. I apologize, but we're going to have to talk about Man United a little bit later. First things first, Michael, how you been?
I've been horrible. I've been doing nothing but answering fucking questions on a computer for like 8 hours a day for like the past 3 weeks.
That sounds like it's awful. I feel like Nick does something similar, though. He's a teacher, you know?
Yeah.
No, I just get the answers that come in on the computer, and I just enter them into a grade book. It's a lot easier on this side of the on this side of the screen.
Nick and Michael both haunted by Scantrons right now, I feel like. Nick, I want to get your take, though. Dylan and I talked about it last week. The outdoor game. 10 out of 10 recommend, yay or nay?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I kind of just wish I wish I had the confidence of the guy that was shirtless and painted the Rangers jersey across his chest and then Truba on his back and pretty much was shirtless the entire time. I wish I could ever have that much confidence in my life to do something. Or stupidity, which that's more likely.
I know we talked about it earlier. Wasn't the Islanders game was supposed to be colder, right? Originally?
I don't know. I mean, the Devils game was like...
Or the Devils game, my bad.
That was also, an 8 o'clock puck drop? It was... If we had to start the game in that cold, I mean, we drank a lot. I would have drank a lot more.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm a big day baseball fan. Day hockey, probably the same. Like, anything you do outside in the day is just better. I feel like, Dylan, you agreed with that.
I got a 1 o'clock Rangers game on St. Patrick's Day. It's going to be fantastic.
That'll be a madhouse. All right, let's dive into it. Like always, we got Dudes of the Week. We are running with for the first time in a while, a full foursome here. Michael, since you're the guest of honor in this one, I'll allow you to go first. We'll go Nick, Dylan, myself. Dylan and I are seasoned at this over the past 2 weeks, just doing it together, so we can bring up the rear. So Michael, Nick, Dylan, myself. Michael, lead us off. Your first dude of the week.
First dude of the week, Virgil van Dijk, the best Premier League defender ever. That's it. Next.
All right.
My dude of the week is Nick's eye roll.
Yeah.
I'll save my comments on this for the appropriate segment.
Yeah, Virgil van Dijk. Shout out to him. All right, Nick. Let's keep it pushing.
I want to shout out here. Roy Hodgson.
Holy fuck!
Shout out. Sorry.
Too much time in Florida, like you said.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah. 2 of the last 3 weekends.
Nick saw that cop that got scared by the acorn down there.
It's like, oh,
jeez. Roy Hodgson. We had the thought: is he going to stay long enough to be the villain, or is he going to be able to die the hero? And I think with the new manager bump that happened this week, he died the hero. So caps off to a great career. There's no chance he comes back.
No.
I think.
Please
but
don't.
Caps off to him, man.
The pod this past summer, the FYP pod that I did one with, they had like a montage and talked about their favorite like Roy Hodgson moment, and they have a comedian on there, Everyone else that's on there had like actual games where they like staved off relegation and had great goals, and he like celebrated. The one that the comedian guy said was the laugh in Pep's face, which actually was pretty funny in the second look back. So shout out to old boy Roy, a pod favorite. Dylan, round one, who you got?
I'm going to bring another pod favorite up. 3 games back, Adama Traore making an impact, doing what he does, and finally learning when you cross the ball, just kick it on the ground, don't actually put it in the air, and it leads to goals. So, like, honestly, there's some progress. So, Adama's back, and I'm scared shitless, but also happy to see him live in a few weeks.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Return to glory. You're going to Wolves, Fulham. What are the actual Vegas odds he gets on the field?
He's been coming on in since he's been back, he's been coming on like in his normal 65th minute role.
You should wear your Adama jersey there just to confuse everybody.
I'm not allowed to.
I'm rooting for both
They have
teams.
strict rules for what you're allowed to wear. Apparently, is what I'm finding out.
Oh, really?
Well, because we're doing the hospitality, it's the only way we can get seats, so you can't wear jerseys.
What is included in that hospitality? Do you have anything to
Food
to tell us?
drinks.
Just food and drinks.
It's food and drinks, and it's cheaper than going to sit in the second level of MSG for a Rangers game.
That's absolutely true because the MSG tax is the biggest robbery in all of sports. Also know that like you can't drink in the stand, so make sure you get it in at halftime and before. Obviously, I think you know that though. So, all right, my first dude of the week is actually a trio of dudes. I've mentioned my buddy Ian multiple times on this podcast.
Do I need to eye roll again?
What?
Your first dude is 3 dudes.
Yeah,
That's
but
the max number of dudes.
You're gonna understand it. You'll get it. It's a
Okay.
good shout out. Ian, I mentioned Ian on the pod many times. Michael attacking his own. He's a Liverpool fan.
I'm attacking
this
you.
This past Saturday, they went to watch the rugby, which I think I'm gonna start doing. The football, the rugby. I kind of like that the English do. They went to watch the rugby at 9:02 in the morning. Got to the bar. I didn't see them until 6 in the afternoon. They were in the same spot in the same bar. The guy who was their waiter was checking them out. He said, "Hey guys, can I give you your tab? I'm leaving." They drank his whole shift. 36 Guinnesses down, $324 worth of Guinness. I got to shout out Ian, Brian, and Tommy. Just a great morning. Come on.
Well, that's acceptable. That's acceptable.
Yeah, just let me finish, Michael, Pause. Come on.
Get those men a statue.
Exactly. Absolutely. And then my second dude of the week, you guys will also be pissed off about the MLS. It's back. I watched it. It was fun. I think I'm going to get into it maybe for the first time this year. Regular season.
Did you buy the whole Apple TV program?
I didn't buy it. I got charged on false pretenses because I didn't cancel it. So I did buy it, but I didn't want to buy it, but now I have it. So we're going to be watching it. And in that vein, also shout out to the MLS teams that won in the CONCACAF Champions League that Dylan and I were talking about last week. But MLS is back, and I'm kind of pumped for it. Let's do it. Dylan,
It's a good watch. I'm happy to, welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Happy to get you before the playoffs. I will go with my next dude of the week, and I'll go American. Johnny Cardoso for Real Betis.
Yeah.
Banger City. The goal he had this weekend was a laser. Not to mention, what, you don't think so, Michael?
No, you just said Banger City, so I was confused by
Like it was
those
a banger.
2 words. Yeah, I was like it was Banger City, but like Banger City in my head immediately was like, what are you going with this?
He could have been doing that too. Probably he's a professional. But regardless.
Gutter Michael, our moms listen.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Well, the other positive is we have depth at midfield now that's in a position with one of our captains who's injured all the time. So pretty cool.
I love Dylan's ability to just take the train and put it back on the tracks when we need it to. Michael, very familiar with Bangor, Maine. That's the only thing he was mentioning, right, Michael? Nick, who you got round 2? Dudes of the week.
Another one of my pod favorites. I'm gonna stick with that one there. I want to go with Jared Bowen. First team hat trick this afternoon. First 2 goals in the first 2 minutes. That first one was an absolute legit volley. Off a little short hop there. So I'll say it. I've said it once. I've said it twice. I'll say it again. Can the man get a call up, please? Can the man get a call up?
I agree. Michael,
because
you
he's
say
better
no?
than Rashford.
Because Southgate is an idiot. There's like so many people that should be called up.
Yeah. True. I don't disagree. We're big Bowen guys.
I like Bowen. He's cool.
Yeah.
Michael, round 2 and 3.
Yeah, I got 2. So first, Wataru Endo has to have a call out here. I think we paid like 18 mil for him, and he is absolutely a monster. He was everywhere. He literally was doing the job of like 3 guys defending in the Carabao Cup Final. Shout out to him. And then shout out to the poor bastard that has to keep updating our championship wall. He has to keep fucking taking the numbers down and like putting new numbers up. Like what? I mean, keeping that guy employed, pretty sick, but it has to be tiring work. So
he's enjoying it. He's enjoying it while he can. Enjoy your last few months, buddy.
Okay.
That's
actually rich coming from you.
Yeah, I was like, that does not sound like a jaded United fan at all.
Yeah. I've had nothing to enjoy for the last decade.
So I shouldn't either.
Nick, speaking of nothing to enjoy, your last pick, dude of the week, who you got?
I'm actually going to cross city lines here and go to someone that I feel might be not getting all the credit that he deserves. He did put in the winner for City this weekend. Phil Foden, quietly, he's going to put together a 10-plus goal and a 10-plus assist season, and yet he never gets the headlines he deserves. It kills me to say it, but Phil Foden, dude's stepping up for City big time this year when they need it.
Yeah, definitely will get called up by Southgate, though, for sure. So we don't got to worry about him.
Already been there. He's done that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I appreciate that, Nick. That was like a nice little across the aisle, shake of hands. Dylan, last person you got.
You guys took all mine, so I'm going to pivot. Julian Lopetegui, dude of the week. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't have our sweet boy Gary O'Neill, who's going to win Manager of the Year. So thank you, Lopetegui, for being an asshole.
Love it. There's multiple ones I could do here, like a make fun of Chelsea shout out. We mentioned Everton and then no one picked them. We're going to talk about them in a second, but getting some points back. But you guys said it before we started recording. We got 34 games into the championship. Leicester's lead has dwindled to 6. The pod mom, I think, needs us, like you guys said. Come on, Leicester. Leicester, up the Foxes. Last dude of the week, we gotta get them back into the Prem so that when your mom does listen to the podcast, it will actually be relevant to what the hell's going on with her team too. That's what we need. So, and then we need our mom to pick a team. I thought that was supposed to happen, Michael.
Oh, I was supposed to send you the email, the PowerPoint, wasn't I?
Yeah, we'll get to
Nick,
that.
just like
right.
United, showing up for the last 5 minutes to actually participate.
I hate how accurate that is.
I'd love to see it.
You walked into
right.
that.
Dudes,
didn't even see it coming.
Dudes of the week, done and dusted. I mentioned Everton. I think we should take at least a minute to chat about that. It doesn't have to be long. Their point deductions down from 10 to 6 now, which means that they're no longer in the relegation zone. I believe they are 17 or 16th. If I doing this on the fly, sorry guys, 15th.
Higher.
15th on 25 points, tied with Brentford, beating them on goal differential, 3 points behind the Cherries in 14th. That means Luton now in 18th on 20 points, and they're 4 points behind Forest, who are in 17th. I always go to Dylan on this just because you got the closest friend that's an Everton fan. And any thoughts?
Big 5-point weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares that they blew a lead against 10-man Brighton? Big weekend.
Exactly.
Before we knew this news came out, though, I did get a text 3 minutes into the game from Hank that said, "Fuck, I need to get a candle." So before getting the points back, I think it was very much Everton looks what we saw the past 2 weeks of just dog shit, and they at least got a point, which is good. But I think at this point with the cushion they have, Deitch will be able to now maneuver them to stay up, and they'll be fine. Depending on, or I guess the other thing is if this other sanction comes through, I forgot about the second one. Maybe that's only 4 and they're back where they started and they're basically sitting right there.
I was gonna say second appeal still to come. I mean, they could get 2 more, 3 more points back or whatever it may be. So,
but now they have a head start on Forest, who's probably gonna get the same type of thing. So in that case, I think they're fine.
Yeah, Michael, you look like you want to jump in.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty insane how much the Prem is fucking this up, because
wait, hold on. You think it's insane? I feel like this is par for the course.
Yeah, I guess I don't mean it. I mean it's crazy how. I guess crazy is also the same thing as insane, kind of. It's just par for the course how they basically painted it as they were completely negligent, and they weren't, and we went through this whole debacle of them losing 10 points, and then when this appeal comes out, it's okay, so they were very forthright about it, and then they were also actively trying to work with the Premier League when the Premier League kind of made it seem like they weren't, and they got it reduced. So now when the Premier League goes in and decides on these things in the future, there's always going to be a kind of a veil of, well, do they know what the fuck they're talking about? Are they lying? Because this was the first one that they did, and they already fucked it up.
Well, the only way this would be worse is if it was run by PGMOL. That's the only thing I'll say. That's the only way this would be any worse. I think Everton's safe. I feel like everyone on the pod probably feels that way now too. But it'll be interesting with Forest, because if it's a 6er that they go down, now they're 2 behind Luton, and Luton's scrappy, man. Luton's a down the stretch team right now, so nothing to lose. Any other thoughts you guys had on it? We can move on.
Good.
I'm excited for the fall when you guys have your turn at this.
All right, Carabao Cup. Let's get into it. Michael, Liverpool 1, Chelsea 0. Virgil van Dijk in the 118th minute. The 10th Carabao Cup win, 10th League Cup win for Liverpool. That's the most all time. It's also the 13th game in a row that you and Chelsea have ended 0-0 in normal time, right?
We love
Pretty
that.
Much. A lot of things happened in this one. Obviously, it's a big win for Liverpool. There was a interesting VAR call, maybe a couple of interesting VAR calls. We can get to that in a little bit, but I'll cede the floor to you first. Talk about the children of Liverpool beating the billion-dollar blue bottle jobs of Chelsea.
Thank you for that, Gary Neville. I love So I love when they do the average ages, and they're well, actually, the average age of the Chelsea players was lower than the Liverpool players at any point in time. It's because you had Endo and Van Dijk on the field, who are both in their low 30s, which is fine. So I went ahead and I actually looked up and calculated, because I'm a big math guy, the average age of our subs versus the average age of their subs. We were a whole 2 years younger than they were.
The best part of all this is both Tuckers are just totally out of this conversation.
I also will say
math. No thanks.
I'm giving them the runway to cook.
I think apart from Kwanzaa, who's 21, and Elliot, obviously, who he plays pretty regularly for us. Bobby Clark, Jaden Dance, Connor Bradley, who's been playing a lot because of Trent's injury, and then Tsimikas and Robertson have also been hurt. I think they all have less than 90 minutes total in professional football going into that game, which is obviously outrageous. I think if you're sitting there going, well, Chukwuemeka's 21, so he's a kid too. It's okay, yeah, but he's played. He's a professional. He's had a season, or not a season with Chelsea, but he's played professional football far more than any of these other people. I'm not going to entertain that point, whatever. It's pretty funny. I don't even really care about it. I thought going into extra time, we were going to lose that game because we were getting pumped at the end. Kelleher was obviously unbelievable again. He just loves a shutout in a final, 3 now for him. I think that the most damning thing for Chelsea is and Poch even said it, and, I don't know if he was protecting the players or kind of blaming them in the same vein, but playing for pens, not going for the game when you're going up against, half the team's academy kids, I think is like actually fireable. And again, I know if you get into this conversation, who do you hire after him? I don't know, but I think that is an offense that is borderline. It doesn't matter who we get. We'll get Frank Lampard again. Like, we have to not have this guy be in charge of the team, because that is a horrible decision to make. And then, as John is not here, obviously, but I'll keep going. Trent posted the homegrown picture with all the academy kids and stuff like that, and everybody lost their fucking mind about it, because they're like, well, only one of them was actually born in Liverpool, and that's actually not even what that means. You just have to be in the academy below the age of 21, like 3 years below the age of 21, which all those fucking people are. Dan's has been there since he was 8. Quance has been there since he was 8. McConnell was there at 15. Neone is the only guy we got this season, and he was like a boyhood Liverpool fan as well. So like every single aspect of this game that could be a positive, people were trying to take it down for us. And at the end of the day, fuck you guys, we beat you again. I love beating Chelsea. It's the best feeling in the world, even if it is on another Virgil van Dijk header that should have absolutely been his second goal. We should even had that goal. I just love beating you. It's awesome.
Dylan, I think you're the person I'd go to next year, just because it looked like you were engaged.
I was engaged. Also, we've done it twice too, so I feel your enjoyment there. High five, Michael. So, watching that game, it is true. It's always 0-0. It's the worst. But like, it was a fun 0-0 where both you guys should have actually scored. And to me, because I know you touched on a lot of Liverpool stuff, that was the most, like, just epitome of Chelsea this year in one game. Of, like, they look like they actually could be somewhat decent, and then, like, every single player just doesn't know how to finish. Like, Conor Gallagher should have scored 3 times in the last probably, like, 5 minutes of, like, normal time. And the one that was one-on-one was a great save, but, like, still. They just leave so many opportunities there, and then they're going to come back and beat a few teams that are lower than them on the table, and everyone's going to get riled back up again, and then they're going to play someone that's more their speed and bring them right back down to earth. So, and on the onside call, by the way, I was so confused when it was happening, but then, like, the more I actually, like, did the research on it, it seems like it actually was the right call, which I know isn't going to make Michael happy, or unless he agrees, I don't know, but, like, I'm happy Van Dijk scored the game winner, because it was also kind of one of those ball don't lie, even though it took another like 60 minutes to get to that point.
So John and I went back and forth on this, because this is my opinion on it. First of all, Cole's not even marking Van Dijk. Ben Chilwell is. So if you want to say, well, actually, Colwell could have went and headed the ball away, you don't even, like, he wasn't even the active marker on Van Dijk. He wouldn't be marking him up front. He would be behind him. He would be on the side where he could see where Van Dijk is and where the ball was to be able to mark him. That's literally how it works. Otherwise, it's just bad marking, okay? 2, that shit happens every week in the Prem. People stand off sides and don't move and are not active players.
I agree with you, but I think we've learned at this point they kind of just pick and choose when they want to actually do VAR right or not. So, like, at this point, you can't really complain about it because it's unfortunate. It's a random draw.
For sure,
yeah.
which is why. Well, so to that point though, which is what John's friend Ian was saying, is that they just pick and choose when they want to do it, and it always seems like in the biggest stage they're picking like they're nitpicking things that they would not normally penalize or VAR in like a normal game, right? And the other thing too with me is, and I've watched it so many times. Wataru Endo doesn't move. He's standing there the entire time. Levi Colwill knows exactly where he is. He doesn't have to go for the ball. He doesn't have to make an attempt to run towards the ball. If he would watch Colwill, which he does look at him, and that's what John says, it's like the obvious intent that he's blocking him off. But if he watches him and Colwill tries to run around him and he tries to move side to side and set the pick, I understand, but the fact that he does not move a muscle, Cole just runs into him and then gives up immediately. He didn't even particularly care to get past him. I think it's very, very soft. And listen, last thing, I know I'm fucking wearing a Liverpool scarf. There's a sign behind me that says Liverpool FC. I get it. I have been the loudest person on this podcast about VAR across the league. I would say this in any case. I would sit there and go, I'm really happy we got the call, but that's lame. That's a lame call.
I have a time bomb comment, but I think I should keep it to myself.
Just go ahead and say it. I don't care.
The thing I was going to say is I think the call itself can be debated. I personally think it's the correct call. I think he directly impacts the end result of the play by being offsides and setting an illegal pick on a defending player. The thing that I think everyone can get behind, and Dylan, this was your point earlier when we were texting each other, is like, I don't want VAR to re-referee every game. And I don't know. Like, I think that there's a time and a place where it needs to be implemented. No one knows what that time and place really is, and we're never gonna, like, it's always gonna be a debate. And I just, like, at some point I would like the referees to just referee. I don't know. That's how I feel.
I agree.
Yeah, can I have two points real quick if you don't mind me jumping in here.
Jump in, Nick.
You're so laid back though. It's
It's nice. I got my feet up. I got my feet up. It's great actually. I stole Caroline's work chair from her room without telling her, so she's not listening, so I'm not worried about it.
I'm telling.
But one, I would like to preface these 2 points by saying that, or at least this is the first point, is that I'm happy for Michael. I like seeing us happy.
Here we go.
Because look, like, we weren't in match, like, you know, like, you can't control who's in it. I enjoy us as a pod being happy. And I enjoy seeing him post everything about the victory on social media and living in the moment. I support that. I love us being happy. Point 2. As the only person that studies history as a profession on this podcast, I would like to rewind just about 365 days. And when I was in this same chair, making the same comments, I was told nobody gives a crap. It's a tin pot trophy. It's really, really, really stupid. And I think it was by someone that had self-criticism said, I understand I'm wearing a Liverpool scarf. Now, I want to go back to my first point and remind you that I'm happy you're happy. But there's a word called historiography in the profession. And you got to look back to be able to judge the comments. And we're not talking historiography like 100 years ago. We're talking no less than 366 days ago.
Wait.
Just want to remember.
I have a great question
everybody
for this.
That this happened. That's all.
I have a great.
That's all.
I was in the shower before, and I was like, I know how I want to frame this question. What's a better accomplishment? The fact that Klopp is swan-songing out, winning this with all these children on the team, or that Ten Hag won it last year, and we know that team had no direction whatsoever. Like, it's actually more impressive that Ten Hag won this last year.
Hold on. I actually disagree a little bit. Because I do think that... Because I think United... No. I'm not saying about that. I think United were way better last year than they are this year. I thought they were, like, really good defensively.
Yeah.
You can win anything if you're good defensively.
I mean, they went to the FA Cup final last year, too, remember?
Yeah. I think they were leaps and bounds better.
So I want to keep the combo moving because there's 2 other points in this I want to get to. First thing, though, just so everyone knows, this podcast has won the Tin Pot Cup every year since 2015, 2016.
Let's go.
United, City, and Liverpool. Yeah.
Dylan, when was yours? I'm sorry. I'm just joking. I'm sorry. You're gonna beat us last game of the year. I know it now.
I was saying, keep like making your comments. I'm gonna be the reason.
I'm up so bad.
I'm the bell that tolls when you don't win the league on the last day.
And damn it. And now you're reversing Dylan because there's been multiple pods where he's jumped on here and looked at me and goes, we could help you out on this last game. And now it's going to be like, it's totally
now it's inevitable.
That comment's like those memes where it's like, it shows a picture of like Pep, Jose, and like Frank Lampard. It's like between these 3 managers, they won the Premier League like 12 times.
Exactly. The actual question I had though is like, Michael, you brought up a point about Poch, and much like I stand by my point on Arsenal until they win it. I think I might start standing by this point. I don't think Pochettino's a good coach. I think I'm done with it. I think I'm over it.
A good coach.
Isn't it wild though? Like, I don't know where I stand with that yet, to be honest, but it's more just wild I think that's more of a reflection on Tottenham, that if you can just do anything at Tottenham, it's all of a sudden you're the best coach ever. And, like, because I
Right.
also want to believe that Ange is the greatest coach because he's, like, the man. But, like, I feel like this is more of a backhanded insult to Tottenham than it is actually to Poch.
But you also got to think about the two teams. Like, think about that Spurs team. Like, he still had Harry Kane, who's, like, unbelievable. He still had Son. He had Alderweireld and Vertonghen, who were both like very good center backs, like in that period of time. Lloris was like one of the better keepers in the world. Like that was a good team that he had. And I think he's like a little bit of a man manager, and he just needs like good guys. You just give him a little bit push, make him feel good. I just think that he's in such a bad situation, and like Chelsea are such a toxic club for managers in general, which they don't do well there. Like I don't think that's a debatable point. Like Potter was not good there. Lampard was, Lampard. Poch is obviously struggling. The problem is if we lost that game with the team that we put out and everything with like nuance, it would have just been kind of like, we didn't really care. We had injuries or whatever. Like it was obvious that Klopp was like kind of taking a back seat. That was a chance for him specifically, I guess, Poch, to get a lot of people who criticize him and a lot of people who don't think he's good enough on his side and build some credit with those people. And again, I thought they played good for 90 minutes. Like I thought that was a really good game. They had obviously some big moments. That last 30 minutes was inexplicable because I thought we were going to get pumped. And we took the 30 minutes. I mean, I don't think they had very many chances, if any at all, in that last 30.
Yeah, I totally agree. Nick, I'm going to give you the floor, and then I'll ask my last question, and then we can move on.
It's very quick. I just want to say I had the epiphany that Poch is the anti-Jose. He can't handle talent and can't win with teams that have the players to do it, but he can develop young players and make them winners. The opposite of Jose.
You think so? Because these are all young players.
No, but young players that are incredibly talented that came in on big fees. Where you like you were mentioning Kane, and Son was purchased for super cheap. Kane's an academy product, and all these guys came up. They were either purchased really cheap or they came through the ranks. And he was same thing with Southampton that he did with them, right? He was able to develop his talent. Where these guys are coming in.
Was Kane an academy product? Because we got fucking cooked for this one.
I'm
homegrown.
Yes, I'm just asking because
I'll defend
fucking FPL 92 or whatever was like, homegrown. All these guys came from other fucking places, and it's like, Messi wouldn't be Barcelona then by that logic.
He'd be new boys, old boys, whatever.
Yeah.
Nick, I'll come to your defense in this one because I've had this point for a long time on Chelsea, and I think multiple people.
Yeah,
on this
he's been at Spurs since 2009. Well, fuck. What Watford? He did do a little bit of time in Arsenal, but he was like 4.
Okay,
I'm listening, John.
Yeah, so I'll defend you, Nick, even though whatever.
I wasn't.
Oh no, I know, but it's like he basically.
Nick, let's keep going back and forth so John doesn't get to talk.
Especially because we're agreeing with each other too. That's the best part.
It's
about
really
this.
pissing him off.
Damn. Dylan and I are just the most agreeable people on this podcast, as always. I do think that the recruitment at Chelsea is just awful. Like, I think this was bad, and this is going to be my last question. Nick, I'm going to give you this option. We're allowed to make fun of Antony as much as we do because United is actually just a bigger club than Chelsea, A. Or B, you have to admit that Chelsea and United are about the same size club, like whatever, and now we can just start making fun of Mudryk way more than we do Antony. Because Mudryk is inexcusable how bad this guy is. How bad. Like, I was watching this and I saw people's comments about it, and the only thought I had was, damn, we really have been making fun of Antony way too much.
No, he's fucking terrible. No, because we're not the same club at all.
Okay, I figured you'd take that one.
We're not. It's definitely A. It's definitely A.
Okay. But to that point, though, like, I think the recruitment's so bad. I think some of these guys are just not good.
Can I just bring up too, like, when you're talking about like recruitment and a lot of stick for like, first of all, Caicedo, Probably, depending on the referee, should have had a red card. I can't believe it wasn't even a foul. It wasn't reviewed at all. Like,
my favorite picture of this entire week was a picture of Caicedo with black Air Forces on.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it was
just made sense.
It was just crazy. But like Enzo's obviously like a really good player. Caicedo had a like good season at Chelsea, and they asked like if these players are at Liverpool, just because they were playing each other, or whatever. And Klopp is obviously like a great coach. Everyone was applauding him, whatever. Do these players, or do they perform better, right? And I think it's like, yeah, no shit, like probably, because one, it's a better team. You're just gonna look better, perform better in a better team. I actually think a lot of those guys, that is the case. I don't think Mudryk, I think you put him in like any team. I don't know what happened. I don't know what people saw. I didn't like watch Shakhtar, obviously. Like Arsenal were going after him, and Chelsea got him. Like, I really hope those people, whoever pitched Mudryk in Arsenal, they had to go back to them now and go like, listen, I hope you were fucking around. And that guy has to be like, yeah, it was totally a joke to get Chelsea to buy him, because you can't believe anything that guy says if he was serious.
Yeah.
Because Mudryk is fast. That's it. He's literally just fast.
Yeah. You're better off getting Usain Bolt on your team. All right. Let's roll through these games, and we're going to do it a little differently. I'm just going to go through them, and if we want to comment on them, we can, and then we'll move on. So we have some time at the end for the United Fulham matchup. Michael, you guys led this week off, too. A 4-1 win over Luton. Ogbene, with the goal in the 12th, gave Luton a first-half lead, 1-0. And I was like, oh, fuck, I got to watch this. Next thing I know, Van Dijk in the 56th, Gakpo in the 58th, Diaz in the 71st, and Connor Elliott in the 90th. Win. Good win. Whatever, right?
Yeah, the fastest first half I've ever watched. I was just watching us pepper the goal, hit it over from 20 yards out. It was incredibly frustrating. And then, whatever happened, and we won. So shout out to us.
Villa 4-2 over Forest. Watkins in the 4th minute leads it off. Luiz in the 29th and the 39th give a 3-0 lead to Villa. Before half, Niakate gets a goal for Forest. Bailey in the 61st follows up the Gibbs White goal in the 48th, the 4-2 win. Dylan, this is for you and me. I think it was 12 minutes that Gio got. We're on Gio Watch, you and I. We're a little worried about this.
It's not good. I guess the only positive could be if Forrest keeps losing. Maybe they have to change it up. However, the positions, like who do you replace is who keeps scoring. So
yeah, he came in for Gibbs White. Yeah, we said that last week. It's like he went to a team who's not doing well, but the guys that are actually doing well are the position he plays. So it's not good. Brighton, we can't figure these guys out. 1-1 to Everton. Branthwaite with the goal in the 73rd gave Everton the lead. Dunk 5 minutes in the stoppage time at the end of the game ties it up to save a point. Better result for Everton for sure. I think still anytime you're getting points when you're that low on the table is a good sign. But anyone have a beat on Brighton right now at all?
No.
Everyone's shaking their head.
Them and West Ham confused the hell out of me, to be completely honest.
Well, yeah. I was telling John, there's like the teams from basically like 6-7 to like 10-11. They could beat probably anybody. They could lose to literally anybody at any time. And it's not even like a consistent, like Brighton used to be consistent with how they looked and how they played. I don't even recognize them now, like weirdly.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
I'm just going to do the normal blanket statement because it is actually probably true here too. They're in like 4 different competitions at this point too, still. So like, I think that's where, to me, it seems like they're prioritizing other competitions would be my guess.
Also, and just so I'm sure this is not a hot take at all, because he was like young player of the tournament and like scored the winning goal. We always say, who's the next guy from Brighton that's gonna go for a shit ton of money? It's gonna be Adingra. He's really fucking good.
Good call. Nick,
thanks.
Shout out to you with the Dude of the Week with Big Boy, Bad Boy Roy. New manager bump for Glasner, 3-0 win for Palace over Burnley. Chris Richards, shout out to the United States of America, in the 68th minute, first goal for them. Also, how long's he been going fro? I kind of like that shit.
It's been like that
all
for
year.
the season, yeah.
Has it been? I thought he had it braided up.
Fake fan.
Not a fan.
Ain't even been watching.
He doesn't watch until the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right.
This is John's Landon Donovan moment.
Yeah, I don't get into my Crystal Palace fandom until they're down in the championship in the playoffs to get back up. Put it that way. He looks like a 70s soccer player because he has the mustache. I fucking love it. But Chris Richards, 68th minute, Ayew in the 71st, and Mateta in the 79th. What do we say? Nick, I gave it to you because you gave it to Roy, but new manager bump for Glasner. We'll see how this goes. I think the only other thing we could say is, like, Burnley's keeping a hold of company. They have to be at this point, right?
They had to have made the decision that going into it, no matter what happens, we'll get our parachute payments and just get us right back up type deal or something. There had to be something because they're so bad. They're so bad that that's the only thing that could make any sense right now.
Yeah.
I think it's to the point that they have his system and they have the players that they know can do it in the championship. So if you get rid of them, you bring someone in who doesn't play that way, you might have to go buy a bunch of new players where this is the cheapest option that they know will probably get them right back up. And then if he gets up a second time, it's a disaster. I think 10 games in, he's gone.
And speaking of, it's cheaper too. I wonder if he has, what's his clause if they get rid of him? Like, because remember, Jose was super expensive to get rid of. That's why he hung around and stuff like that. So I don't think that's probably the case, but it could be that. That could be an issue too.
Could be. I mean, if you really think about it, company had like Guardiola in his ear about like, hey, you should set the contract up this way. Probably too. Like I could see some shit like that. Where he's got people that he can like talk to that have been managers for a while. I actually don't think it's a bad move, to be honest with you. Like they're gonna go into the championship next year playing that style for an entire season in the Premier League, and I don't think they have to get rid of many guys. There's not too many people on this roster where you're like, you have to go play in the Premier League. Don't go to the championship. I don't know. We'll see. I only have a soccer podcast. I'm not an expert. City over Bournemouth 1-0. Foden in the 24th minute. Nick correctly shouted out Phil Foden silently. Just the most important player for City. One thing that I will say is the wing play for City has not looked that great lately. Doku hasn't had that big of an impact. Jack Grealish nowhere around. So out of the plans that Alexis came up and said, "Where's that Grealish guy at?" She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. And the back line's still iffy. So we'll have to see what happens. But a win is a win is a win. Michael, what you got?
I mean, I know this is obvious because it was 1-0. You guys could have easily drawn this game.
Easily.
I mean, the
So
Solanke
easily.
was like Solanke almost was like on the goal line, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Cleared off by Ederson. And then we didn't talk about this one on pod because of the scheduling, but a 1-0 win at Brentford wasn't that convincing either. So
No.
we're just waiting. Hopefully we figure it out. I'm the only one that hopes that, but it is what it is. Arsenal continues their tear. A 4-1 win over Newcastle. Botman with the own goal in the 18th minute. Havertz in the 24th. Saka in the 65th. I always say this guy's name wrong. Kiwior. How do you say it, Michael? Kiwior in the 69th. And then Joe Willett gets an inconsequential goal back for Newcastle. I'll say my quick quip here. The only time you should ever bet on Newcastle is right after a international break because they're exhausted by game 2. Any thoughts on these guys? Dylan, the Arsenal apologist.
I'll say Arsenal's coming, boys.
They did flip that goal differential quite quickly.
I think this is where I said it last week. The team would have started. They're winning differently this year, and they're getting hot at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And the next month is gonna determine how I feel about them. But they're pumping in goals, and they're not winning 1-0, and they have a good defense.
Yeah.
No
disagreements.
Sorry.
Michael?
Obviously,
Maybe.
I don't want to step around the defeat to us. I think, John, we were watching that game. The Van Dijk, Allison running into each other goal. The Trossard goal, the last goal was good, but I think the first one too was like a deflected. I can't remember exactly what it was. And then our goal itself, like the Diaz goal, was obviously an own goal. But they also played West Ham, who we don't know if they're gonna play really good or terrible. They played Burnley, who are literally the worst team, second worst team in the league, and then they played Newcastle with nobody at home. And
they've put up like 6 goals every game compared to if they're winning 1-0 like City.
No.
Instead of how we're saying City's in a good spot, like they'll figure it out. We'd be sitting here saying what's wrong with Arsenal. So like,
right.
What do you want them to do?
I'm talking about the goal difference. I've said they're playing poor teams, so it's good they're getting the goal difference up because they're not going to play these teams the whole rest of the year.
Well, that's accurate.
Yeah.
Dylan, though, I do agree, and
I know you're mad because I went after you for a second.
You're an Arsenal hater, or I'm an Arsenal hater, Dylan. But I will admit they're looking not like the team of last year. Put it that way. West Ham 4-2 over Brentford. Jared Bowen 5th and 7th minute. Maupay got one back in the 13th. Then you had Bowen again in the 63rd, Emerson in the 69th, and Wissa in the 82nd. Like we said, West Ham's an enigma. We have no idea. Jared Bowen we know is good. Shout out to the hat trick. I think, Nick, again, you're due to the week. They keep popping up. But what I do want to ask, is Brentford actually on relegation watch here?
No, I don't think they are.
Yes.
Tucker's yes. Michael no. Nick?
Actually,
Nick going to change his mind as I call on him?
I'm leaning toward. I'm going to say 60%. I'm leaning 60% yes because their run-in over the next 6 weeks is rough, but they finish with a very manageable last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games that they can be okay. They can pull themselves out of it.
It's like half the games.
As a team who didn't score against them recently, their defense is kind of water trash right now, though. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Which I know is ironic considering that we got shut out by them, but that's visible.
I think they might be slipping, and depending on what point deductions happen, we'll see. But they have not looked good. So I know they had our guy Tony out, but they have not looked impressive at all. All right,
they'll be fine.
Main event: Fulham 2, United 1. Bassey in the 65th minute gave Fulham a lead. Maguire ties it up in the 89th. Iwobi, 7th minute of stoppage time, give Fulham all 3 points. Nick, you haven't been on the pod in a while. You want to vent? What do you want to do? Let it out? You seem like you're in a good place, I won't lie.
I'm doing the opposite of John. I show up when we lose. I don't show up when we win.
All right.
So,
There's 2 times last year.
I'm sorry. I made that joke many, many times. I'm sorry.
Nick, I showed up specifically because you guys lost, not because we won the Carabao Cup.
Oh, nice. I figured you'd be in a green and yellow scarf if you were going to do that,
The North scarves? No, I'm good. I want the Glazers to stay forever.
I'm quite happy I didn't watch the game. I was down in a... Oh, God, really? Ew. I was down at a bachelor party this weekend, so I was texting with Dylan on the side a little bit while it was going on. And it just kills me that Dylan said, and in the chat when Dylan says, Adama's coming on, you're screwed. And then I saw it. I was following the tracker on FOTMob, because we were kind of walking around town, after a brunch, so I couldn't really watch a few minutes here or there. But, what are we going to do? I told you guys weeks ago, it's just going to take the ride for what it is. I said, the one thing that's annoying me is, I said to Dylan at the Ranger game, the outdoor game, that at that point, I think we were 2 games in. So I go, going back 2 weeks and then going forward the next 7, I go, we have 9 games. We need 21 points. And we're not going to beat City this week. We're not going to beat Liverpool. So I'm we have to go, to have a chance. Oh, come on, I think I'm not going to say that. To have a chance to make Champions League, we had to go take 7 out of 9. And to just throw an egg like this out there when, even though, hey, yeah, Højlund's hurt, whatever, but you give Forsen his chance and he goes out and just, I'm glad they didn't put Anthony in. But again, I told you, it is what it is. They're going to be really, really good. They're going to have a stinker or 2. Maybe they make a run in the FA Cup, but we'll finish 5th. And it's going to be ugly as all hell. Not because we earned it, because whoever finishes up in 6th screwed it up. And we just did enough to get it done.
Who screws it up, Nick?
I don't know. We'll find out in a few months.
Good answer.
Good thing you're on this podcast.
I think we could potentially catch Spurs.
Yeah. Damn. Villa.
How I wasn't saying, Nick, keep your head up, because, like, if all the English teams do well, that coefficient could change. You could still make Champions League in 5th, potentially.
True.
So
It's true.
there's always that.
If we were in the final, the Europa League final, and to win, if we won, you guys, like, 5th place got it, I would want us to lose.
Damn.
Nick's like, fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I'm going to say after that that's going to go over well. It doesn't need a dump button from the radio, so.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
That's not how that works anyway. So
No,
if you'd win it, you wouldn't get in. So
Yeah, but I told you guys again like a month or two. That's how it is. You just had a good run, laid a stinker. It's going to be expected. We're not a good team right now, and everything I'm seeing today on Twitter, which you can always trust, soccer Twitter, is they're eyeing Ineos and Ratcliffe is eyeing up 10 to 12 outgoing players this summer, with Anthony and Sancho being the headline.
I feel like it's just like you need a layoff. I've gone through one, so I'm allowed to make the joke. You need a layoff, and you need to rehire, but you need to rehire better than Chelsea did.
I think we'll spend. Everything I'm reading is that we'll spend smarter in terms of we won't be overpaying. So like the Anthony, the Sancho stuff, So I'm hoping again, that's the truth. But until you see it happen in practice, I mean, if we do everything we say with taking the guy from I'm forgetting his name now, and why am I'm forgetting names like crazy?
Liverpool guy
and him and the guy from Newcastle. Why am I forgetting his freaking name? Dan Ashworth. Like, we're setting ourselves up. We're gonna have to pay $20 million for him, but do it. That's better $20 million spent than $97 million on fucking spin cycle.
Now you're into the portion of the pod where we talk about front office moves. I do think that, like, again, you gave a nice little comment to Foden. Let me return the favor. I think that the best move you guys could do is get better people making actual decisions for you.
Yeah.
And I don't know the day in, day out of all these people, but City, Liverpool, and Newcastle, in my opinion, have all been better run clubs the past 3 years than you guys have been. And if you're hiring those people, hopefully that's what you can do.
Yeah. And listen, and if you miss on a $25 million player, like in this day and age, it's not that big a deal. Yeah. That's 20 years ago, Alex Ferguson making a miss on a $3 million player, which happens. So we won't be competitive until the earliest 3 years out from being legitimately considered competitive in the top 3. Yeah. But I can handle that. If we're going to start playing better and more consistent, I can deal with that.
Michael, you're the natural person to go to next.
I just want to... Okay, this is also something I was thinking of after our game. And I was like... Because obviously Nick had mentioned like soccer Twitter and stuff like that being obviously the most reliable source of information.
Real quick, when you're feeling depressed about your soccer team, the best place to go is X. It just makes you feel better, I'm sure.
When you're feeling good about your soccer team.
In the comment section specifically.
Yeah, exactly. When you're feeling real good, the best place to go is the team you just beat's Twitter. And that's really funny.
Yeah.
So this is what I'll say, because as somebody who is, their manager is going to be gone at the end of the season. And I said on here, when that broke and I was potting, I'm excited because like you don't know what it's gonna be next, and it could also be like just as cool, and you could be in for like another decade or whatever of your team being fun to watch. And then that's kind of when it hit me, whereas like the whole time that Klopp has been our coach, we have been fun to watch always. I've never turned. I mean, very few times have I turned the game on and been like, that was horrible to watch. Like, that was pathetic. And it's pathetic in comparison to the great games that we've had and the fun games that we've had. And that's, I think, where, like, when you mature, just in general, and you realize, like, it's the shit that's fun is the journey, obviously. It's not obvious. Like, people are like, we won this, we won that, whatever. That's great. That is
the last 3 years.
But that's what I'm saying, because, like, you guys if I'm a United fan, the last 3 years has been hell because you guys haven't even been enjoyable. There hasn't been anything that you've done on a consistent basis that's been like, I can see where we're going. I can see what's happening. We might have games where we look bad, but at least we went for it. We, XYZ, whatever. And I think that's something that I definitely, after this, I'm sure, like, to think Xabi Alonso or whoever the fuck comes in is going to be able to pick that right up and be just as good as Klopp is ridiculous. Like, it could be good, but it's just probably not possible. So, like, I'm now thinking about, is this going to be, like, enjoyable to watch after he's gone, and thinking about it like that? And that's what I think is, I want, even though I hate United, you're my friend, I want you to enjoy when you turn the TV on. And I hope that this can turn into that, but obviously, like you said, the past 3 years and like right now, when I watch United, to be able to talk about it, I sit there and I'm just like, I couldn't imagine supporting this team because it's just so hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah.
And you have the moments and stuff like that, but getting 22 shots against Luton Town when you held on to that win, that would drive me crazy.
I mean, if you really think about it, outside of the Tin Pot Cup last year, the best moments you've had watching United since you've been on this podcast have come at your peril with us.
I know. I mean, that's... Maybe I should just quit. Anyway, sacrifices we make for the things we love. But, no, I agree. Like I've said, I'll make 2 quick points and I'm good. But, like, how many times over the last 2 years have I basically said it's the exact same thing? There's nothing. Right. It's pretty much been the same narrative. And I had said to Dylan a couple weeks ago, like, at least with Ole, like, when was the last time we scored 4 or 5 goals? I mean, Ole scored 5 plus goals under him. They did it like 9 or 10 times. Like, they went out and they put the ball in the back of the net. I just went back and looked at the season with Jose. We finished 6th and won the Europa League. We were plus 25 goal differential. It was frustrating football to watch, but it was 54-29 over 36 games. I think we're 30. What in there? And this season we're at already
36 and 36.
Yeah, I ended it was 33 at 36. Like, it's just, hey, at least if you go out, like, I remember watching Liverpool, those first years with Klopp, like, they were losing games when he made everybody, that first game he made everybody go down to the cop and everything. Wasn't it like a 4-3 loss? Like,
no, I think it was a draw to West Brom.
But it was like, but at least it's exciting. Like, you're getting goals, you're getting action. So I agree with everything you said.
For that.
Oh, I know. But, like, at least it was exciting. It was action. We haven't. I was looking at the West Ham game, but outside of that, we don't win 4-0, 4-1, 5-1. We don't do that anymore.
I thought 4 was an interesting number because you've only scored 4 goals one time this season, and it was against
Newport
twice.
County, baby.
I meant in the league. I said 4 goals one time, and it was against Wolves.
It was one of the worst games we played, and we still almost won.
Right,
yep.
That wasn't necessary, Dylan. But moving on, we're good.
Yep.
It's true.
Well, Nick, onwards and upwards for the old United. Let's get into some predictions. First things first, table predictions. I've been updating it, guys. Dylan, you've taken the lead now on 52 points. Michael's in second on 50. I got 48. Nick, not good. 40 points. You got some stinkers in here, but that's okay.
I can't even remember what I did.
There's
Oh, I am so wrong. It's not. Oh my God, that's so bad.
There's not even like that bad of ones in here. You just got a lot of negative ones and zeros. It resembles United's goal differential very much, actually. So, let's get into predictions where Nick is doing much better. Michael in first place still, 146 and 111. Went 4-5 last week. Nick, you're sitting at 136 and 121, 4-5 last week as well. I'm in third, 134 and 123 at 6-3 last week. Dylan, 125 and 132, 4-5 last week. First game of the match week. Brentford's going to host Chelsea. I think there are a lot of games, and by a lot, I mean 3 games that I have no clue what's going to happen this week. So that'll be fun. But this is one of them, obviously. I got a draw. I'll go down the line. I got a draw. Michael, what you got?
I think we'll see with the Leeds game that they have midweek, I think this could be the downfall of Chelsea the rest of the year. I think they could completely collapse. So I'm going to go Brentford win.
Damn. Dylan?
I don't trust either of these teams. Knowing that the Wolves need Chelsea to lose means that they're going to end up scoring a shit ton of goals and finally converting. So I'm going to take Chelsea.
Nick?
I'm taking Brentford. I was very close to the draw pick too, but fuck Chelsea. Go Bees.
Everton hosting West Ham. Again, I don't know where to start with this one, so I'll start with you, Michael.
Give me Everton. I think this is the new points bump. I couldn't think of what to say.
The legal bump.
Yeah, the legal bump.
The appeals bump.
I think also West Ham can't play 2 good games in a row, so like this is going to be a bad one.
Incapable of.
Yeah.
Totally incapable of. Dylan, who you got?
Vegas has Everton favored by a decent amount in this game, and I don't know why, so I'm trusting Vegas and taking Everton.
Not a bad plan.
And it might be because West Ham's playing midweek. I
Nick?
think, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking Everton because I subscribe to the fact that West Ham can't put 2 games together.
Fuck. I should take West
Yeah,
Ham.
I got Everton too, so we're 4 straight on Everton, which is never a good sign.
It's always bad.
Fulham hosting Brighton. Nick, I'll go to you because Wolves is next. Who you got in this one?
I'm Team Aaron. I want him to feel good going into Craven Cottage, so I'm taking the Cottagers.
I got Brighton. I don't know why. I don't know. Again, no clue why, but I got them. They're the Seagulls.
I got you. Ready? You ready?
Yep.
West Ham, Fulham, Brighton, Wolves at times, all very up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Brighton played like shit. They're going to play good.
Back up.
Fulham played really well. They're going to play like shit. So I got Brighton.
Nice. Dylan?
He forgot that Brighton plays in 2 days, which is where they'll play well. Fulham doesn't play, so thus that ruins your thing. I'll be taking Fulham.
Damn.
No, it's only league form because only the Premier League matters. Otherwise, you would have brought up the fact that Arsenal didn't have a shot on goal against Porto.
What?
Interesting.
We're talking about 2 different teams.
Yeah. Let's
Well, you said they were doing so good.
let's move on this one.
It
Dylan,
wasn't a good game.
Wolves are traveling to Newcastle. Who you got?
I will be taking Newcastle, just,
Yeah.
but the candle.
Candle, reverse jinx, and scarf. That's the threesome. That's the holy trinity of a Wolves good result.
Yes.
Nick, who you
Well,
got?
I mean, you stated a positive fact. I wasn't going to correct
yeah,
you.
no, I appreciate it.
I'm going to have to go. I'm going to be taking a draw. I think Wolves are playing pretty well, and we know that St. James's Park is a tough place to play. But, Newcastle has a midweek game tomorrow. Tired legs. Wolves won't. Tired legs at a home game equals a draw for Wolves.
I got a draw as well. What Nick said, ×2.
If it's a draw, I'd be very happy just throwing that out there.
Love it. Michael?
I got Newcastle.
All right, Newcastle. Michael, you're traveling to Forest. You got Liverpool in this one, dude?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that, Nunez and Salah and all them are back. Nunez better be. After
If it means hurdling a fence to get to the game, Nunez will be there.
Yeah, so I don't know. We play Southampton midweek. I don't know who we're gonna start for that. If he's gonna go mixed or just go kids completely for this one. I gotta imagine we can beat Forest away, but it'll be similar to Luton. It'll be a tough game. It's not gonna be easy. So I think it'll be a good one, but I think we'll win.
Dylan, you got Liverpool?
Liverpool.
Nick?
Liverpool, come on. Easy.
Yeah, I got Liverpool as well. All right, Tottenham. They're hosting Crystal Palace. I got Spurs. The Cockerels, the bird winner of this one. Michael, who you got?
I also have Spurs.
Dylan?
Spurs.
Nick?
Tottenham.
Luton. The crafty and the tough Luton town. They're going to host Aston Villa. Dylan, who you got in this?
I'll be taking Villa. I think it'll be a fun one because again, scrappy, but Villa.
Yeah, agreed. Nick?
Yeah, I got Villa. It'll be a good match because it's a home game for Luton, but Villa.
Yeah, I think closer than most experts think, but I think it'll be like a 5-4 or 4-3 game. The over in this would actually be kind of interesting. I got Villa as well. Michael, who you got?
The over won't be good if I bet it. It'll immediately be like, no. This, I honestly, just reflexively put Villa. This could be a draw. This could so easily be a draw. I don't think Luton can win. But I'm gonna go Villa because I don't want to risk it on this game in particular.
All right, Burnley hosting Bournemouth, the battle of the bees that aren't really bees. Michael?
Bournemouth. I can't pick Burnley. They're so bad.
Yeah, I got Bournemouth too. Nick, who you got?
3-3.
Dylan, same.
Bournemouth.
Manchester Derby. We'd get a lot more pomp and circumstance into this one, but Nick, it's been a down day. I got City. Who do you got?
Oh, I didn't even think you had to ask me.
Okay.
Nick's got
courteous.
United. Nick's got
It's a
United.
courteous thing.
I am not going to open the candle because I don't want to risk the good juju that's with it. But I would also like to say that I have another reason to pick City because it is the Belmar St. Paddy's Day parade, and I'm going over to my friend's house on the other side of town, for the morning to have some celebrations. Since we're rewinding 365 days a year, 365 days ago on St. Paddy's Day in Belmar, United played Liverpool, and I was at my friend's house celebrating St. Patrick's Day parade, and we all know what happened that day. So
I just can't believe you're not going to unleash the power of the candle to see if it like this is the ultimate test to find out if it really works.
maybe I'll carry it around with me around town when I'm walking.
Yeah. Maybe don't do that though, just in case. Dylan, who do you got in this?
I'm taking City.
Michael?
City.
Nick?
Quick question.
Yep.
Because my candle says made with city tears.
Really?
Yeah, it does.
Mine says made with baggy tears.
Yeah, Michael, did you get your candle or did you haven't found it yet? Did you order a Liverpool candle?
No, I never got one. We
I'm
don't
not
use a
giving
candle.
him that magic.
Well, because I'm curious what theirs says. 'Cause I just don't understand why it would say
Everton?
Oh,
Liverpool.
probably Everton.
Yeah.
Toffee tears.
Yeah.
Coffee tears.
I'm just a little confused by the.
Hey, Nick, Google's free, man.
It's true, but I just thought of this question right now, so I'm good.
Is it though? Is Google free? There's a lot of cost to society based on that company.
I
Sheffield
guess, yeah.
United. Sheffield United host Arsenal. I got Arsenal. Michael?
Yeah, Arsenal. Similar to Burnley, I can't, in good conscience, pick Sheffield United.
This could be another 6 spot. Dylan?
Arsenal.
Nick?
Samesies.
All right. Padley. Dylan, I know you got a leg. I got a leg ready. You want to start us off and the other two guys can figure it out? Did not win the last one, by the way, just in case the listeners were wondering.
I've got a fun one.
Okay.
Aston Villa -0.5 Asian handicap corners first half. So -120 Aston Villa to have basically -0.5. So win the corners in the first half against Luton.
Am I able to... My bet was from this game, too. Is that possible or no?
I don't know if we can same game parlay these two specific, but I'll try.
Because I wanted the Aston Villa win over 1.5. That
I'll
probably
cook
won't
something
let you
up
do
while
it.
they figure out what their parts are. No, we can't do corners in the same game parlay.
All right, you do yours, and then I'll figure out mine here in a second. Nick, Michael, this is great potting. You guys got anything?
I've got Fulham over 5.5 corners plus 105.
Nice.
I will from now to the end because I won that. Obviously, I sent that big basketball win I had, so now I have money in the account. I will be posting on our Instagram a day bet for the rest of the year.
Oh wow! Wow.
I just can't do it right now because DraftKings is
No.
a piece of shit. I hate the app so much. I have to get cornered into doing it. So
I'll do this. Exact team goals for City. Plus, or it's 3 plus 255.
Okay.
I'd go 4, but that's just me.
I don't know how you can say that.
I think we're gonna break out of it.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I guess that's.
I think
that's
the ghost of Holland's dad is gonna come back, and he's gonna get 3 himself.
That's okay. I'm just going off of like you guys just look so bad in front of goal.
You're not incorrect. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
You're not incorrect. Yeah. So.
Oh shit.
Dylan, you got any other bets we got to throw in here?
I was gonna potentially say City to have a clean sheet at plus 120, and then there's no method to this madness other than I think somehow there's just gonna be goals. Chelsea Brentford over 3.5 plus 135.
I don't hate that one either.
Nick, I'm doing this to piss John off. Is Højlund out for this game for sure?
He's out 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, yeah. So never mind.
The Højlund-Holland double?
No, no. I just the only way I can see in my head is a break, like Højlund on a break, scoring. So I think it's probably like a 3-0.
Yeah, you just wait until that fucking Rashford gets on the wing.
Harry Maguire. He's not going to be playing the
That
wing.
too.
He's gonna be playing
Harry Maguire.
He's going to be playing.
Damn.
He'll
You're
be
right. He'll be
down the
playing
middle,
dead center.
which is a terrible thing. But
Yeah. You're right. All right, Dylan. Get us out of here. All 4 of us back on the pod. It went well, and sometimes and other times you could tell that we haven't all talked at each other in a while.
For sure. When was that? When could you tell that?
All right, boys. What do you get if you cross a soccer player and a mythical puppet? A centaur forward. Cheers.
The NAFTAA Podcast.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.